What's up, what's up, what's up? It's me, Brown Skin Cutie, aka BSC, and we back with another video. Oh, oh, okay. So we back with another video on this Sunday. So I do have some guests today. I'm sorry, I do have some guests today. I have Varshney all the way coming from South Carolina. And then I have Lizette. Y'all should recognize Lizette. I spoke about her in my videos. Oh, and I spoke about both of them actually in my video. Silly me. And they're all Geminis, so that's kind of cool. My rising is Gemini, so I guess I'm kind of Gemini too for this video. But I brought them on, and I'm grateful that they were able to make it on this video because we're going to talk about how we're all minorities in New Hampshire and how, like, our experience growing up. Like how we felt like growing up being like minorities here. So who would like to go first?
Sure, I will go.
Okay, so go ahead, Lizette, start it off.
Well, I came here when I was 16 years old and I didn't know the language. And then literally like 2-3 months after coming to the US, I got told you're going right to high school. So I was like, cool. I went to high school without knowing the language. It was really hard to talk to people or communicate with anyone, and I always had to run to my Spanish teacher and ask her, hey, like, I need to ask you a question, or the teacher would be going and then ask her questions. And I pretty much just, high school was pretty much like a place where I just go and play around. Because like I the first year I didn't actually study anything because it was more like having fun for me, because they can't make me make an essay, I don't know the language, so it was more like art class, music, and all the fun stuff for that. So and then eventually I started like learning English, because like I got a tutor that will help me to do my homework, all this other stuff. So that was hard, just to learn a language. And now adding friends to this circle, it was really hard because once again I couldn't really communicate with people, and everyone just looked at me like, oh, look at the girl who just came from another country, and I'd be like, yep, that's me. And then like people would like make me say words that I didn't know they were bad words, and of course luckily I didn't get in trouble because the teachers knew what was going on. And so yeah, it wasn't really as fun, but at the same time I did enjoy high school because I did end up making friends, because like I was like taking classes with like different people in high school for like different grades. So I got to hang out with the cool people, with the weird kids, with the kids with like music. So how in high school they always have like the groups of people. So yeah, so I get to hang out with like all of them. So I made friends that way, and they actually tried to like learn or speak in Spanish to me or something. So I thought that was kind of nice because I feel like they kind of did understood me that she has another language, so they always tried to communicate with me, and I got invited to parties, which I was really surprised. So I kind of feel like a cool kid, like I got invited to things. So it was good. But when it came to school and actually doing homework, because you gotta graduate high school, you gotta do all these classes. I had to take night classes because I had to do like history or like all the hardest classes, and this was like at the end of the year when I was about to graduate. So I'm rushing everything to get my my diploma, because the first year I just did all the fun stuff, so now I gotta struggle with this other. So it was hard, but it was exciting at the same time. And I feel like a lot of people wanted to like know me, and they would like try to like talk to me and stuff like that, and I like that because I felt like out of place.
Oh yeah. So
I really enjoy that. And then being in New Hampshire, it was like, I don't know, I hate it. At first when the first day seeing snow, you're like, oh my gosh, look at the snow,
Yeah.
And then like few weeks later, you're like, fuck this shit, like I don't want to go out, I want to get out. Like I would wake up at 4:30 in the morning because I was the first one to get picked up on the bus stop, so I was like freezing my ass off, on outside waiting for the bus, and I was like, nope, I'm already hitting this. I regret this, and but no, eventually, like, just I want to say you get used to it, but you really never get used to it, to the cold.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta suffer and be strong about it, So yeah, and then eventually I got my degree in high school, and that's when things got harder for me because like everyone, they pick their own college, they leave the place, and now I'm pretty much by myself. I don't really have my friends anymore because like they all left.
Yeah.
So, and then trying to like find, okay, what am I gonna do with my future? What's gonna happen with me? And okay, cause at the time when I graduated high school, like yes, I knew English, but it wasn't like the best thing. I didn't like. I was still like getting confused and all that stuff. So I didn't want to like start college right away because I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do it. So I barely passed high school, and I had help, and I was scared to go to college. But eventually, I just got myself, I started working a full-time job, and I started like saving up money, and then just eventually, I just decided to go to community college first to try it out how it is, and then when I did that, I graduated from community college. I was like, oh cool, that wasn't so bad, even though I cry every day doing my homework, but and then I was like, okay, let me try something else. So I decided to go for my other degree. So yeah, and then I guess I kind of got lucky because I first got my job, and then after I went to college. So it worked for me because I did the reimbursement with my job, and I didn't have to worry about paying school and all that because a lot of people get in debt for school, and I'm glad I don't have to deal with that situation. So yeah, so it's been a long road for me. It has its ups and downs, but so far it's not bad. And I'm still in New Hampshire. I'm still trying to like get used to the cold. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Lizette. And not for you.
Yeah, so I came to New Hampshire probably when I was 5, but I came to the States when I was 2. My parents immigrated here from India. My dad came for work. So my experience is definitely different. I had an easy time with English. I probably had a harder time when I went back to India communicating with people because I never fully learned what my parents spoke. So that was always challenging to speak to my grandparents, and I always felt a little hard. But growing up here, I definitely was in Mass and then New Hampshire. Definitely very white place. And yeah, so like I had probably when I got to high school, I felt like I had like the Indian friends and I had like American friends, and then when most of the time in the room wherever I was in, I was usually the only person of color. And I don't know, like in my personality, sometimes I used to think like, oh, like maybe that's the reason like I felt like a little excluded or I wasn't able to be accepted that easily. But I don't know, I think now that we're no longer forced to kind of interact in these same societies, especially going to college, like there was a lot of diversity there. So I felt like a little bit more comfortable in my skin, and yeah.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of sorry. Just to piggyback off what she said. I agree because I just feel like every time it's like I would only be the only black person. So anytime like it was time to talk about like slavery, Martin Luther King, anything, everybody, all eyes would go to me, and I'm like, okay, like so it was just weird. Like my hair was different than everybody. I'm a brown skin cutie. I was the only brown one. Like it was annoying. So it's like you had nobody else to like relate to you. And there was like maybe 3 other black people in my school, but like we didn't talk. And it's not off of me. Like I always wanted to feel like, okay, like yes, like me and you type of thing. And I just never got that. So I would always have friends that were other different minorities, like her Indian. I was cool with a Cambodian girl and stuff like that. So that's one way I was able to like kind of get through. And then I would then go online to meet other people because I was just like searching for like my people, my tribe, like my group. So it was just really tough. And people make comments, like insensitive comments, and it's like people don't um like it different. I noticed that. It's like, or they'll like it for different reasons. Like it's not a genuine reason. So it's just like tough. So it's like I always, when I would see someone new, like even if Asian, Indian, whatever, I would try to be their friend. I'm not gonna lie. I would try to be their friend because I'm like, okay, we can relate because we're different. And like she said that it was very a lot of WPs here, a lot of WPs. And then you would have WPs that like you thought they were cool until they said that like that cringy comment or that disrespectful comment, then you checking them and you're looking at them. So I was like, I was ready to just graduate high school, then go on with my life because I was just like, I can't do it. I'm still here in New Hampshire. I got my group, so I'm just like, okay, I feel more at home, but like, I'm not gonna lie, if I could see more brown faces, black people, I would love it. So I don't know if moving is in the cards for me yet, but I would like, it's nice to know like, okay, someone that like understands and you don't have to explain, or people looking at you crazy, or like I have juicy lips. Like other people be like, oh, why do you put so much lip gloss? One, because I like lip gloss, and two, it's like you're never gonna make me feel bad about my lips. Like my mother raised me and my brothers like, oh, you're handsome black man, or you're pretty girl, or what have you. So it's like no one could ever like bring me down. Thank you. No one could ever bring me down or make me feel bad that I was black amongst WPs or no one that looked like me. So I don't know. I feel like this was a good experience growing up in New Hampshire, but also if I could see more people that look like me, it'll just be better. But does anybody have anything else they want to add?
I mean, I have a story. I remember, I don't know if you've ever had the similar experience. I was in class one time in high school, and I asked this friend I had, I was like, what does my skin color remind you of? And I was expecting him to say like chocolate or something like neutral or nice, and what he said, take a guess.
Poop?
Yep.
See, like, what, like...
And I was so hurt by that comment, and then something else that stuck out to me, I think one time I was in health class, and I had a crush on this guy in my class, and I think after a while he knew, and maybe even his brother knew, and someone told me like, oh, you're so exotic, and I was like, I don't know that I want to be called exotic. Like, I'm not sure if that's a compliment.
Yeah, no, stuff like that, I don't like that, because even, like, to piggyback on that, people would be like, you know, like when you would turn off the lights to do the movie on the projector or whatever, they were like, oh, BSC, where did you go? It's like, why would you say a comment like that? Like, so, oh, you can't see me no more because the lights are off? Like, it's very insensitive. And, like, exotic, I feel like they say that because they don't know any other word. Like, what's exotic?
Exotic means like, oh, because you're different, it's like a fetish set.
Yeah, and I don't like that because like exotic, like.
Yeah. What? I don't want to be liked by someone because I'm Indian or because my skin color is this way. Like, I don't want that to be the reason that you're attracted to me.
And
so much more than that.
Exactly. And do you find like it was hard dating because?
100%. I don't think I ever felt like guys like me in high school, and it wasn't until I went to college, and even then I was told like, you know, white guys are not attracted to like Indian women. But I had a much easier time when I met more people of color. I would say black men gave me a lot of attention. And then, not that it worked to date them, but yeah, like I think I also probably, got, it's maybe full of myself, I got better looking as I got older somehow. So I was a little bit more introverted and shy, and I was also overweight a lot of my childhood growing up. So.
But I feel like, because I feel like you looked good when you were younger, so, or both, all around, that's what I mean to say. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like it's because of where we grew up, your looks wasn't appreciated. That's why it's like, I was happy that the way I was raised, like it didn't matter. I didn't care if like I didn't date nobody in this school or what else they said, because like my family, and I knew I felt it. Like I knew I was a brown skin cutie. Like I didn't care what anybody said. They could call me ugly and I'd be like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Because I just already had that in my head. Like I'm a brown skin cutie. Like I don't, like it didn't matter what anybody else said. So it's like, it didn't bother me that way. So it's like, I didn't care if I was overlooked because I was like, this isn't my crowd. Yeah. So then when I went and I started talking to like my people, like online or whatever. Like I was at home, like I got all the hits, the this, the that, because I already knew. I just already knew like what it was, so it's like it didn't bother me. But it's like no one ever like came at me on like crazy stuff like calling me exotic or my skin was like that. It's just more so the comment of like, oh, where are you in the dark? Or there's another one they say, and I forget because it's just so stupid, but it was just like ignorant stuff like that. But this is what shows you like people need to learn other people's cultures, and that there's not just them in this world. There's different people that make up this world. So it's either you get with it or just leave us alone, because we're not leaving. Like we're gonna do that. We're gonna be here because more now. So you can see that more people are going to the brown skin cuties and Hispanics and stuff like that. They're not just sticking with what they know. So now the times is different, but.
So I remember one trip I made to India when I was in 10th grade, and I was like with my grandmother, basically my dad's mom, and I think one comment she made, I took it back with me. She was like, I used to tell like, I feel really bad, my skin is so dark, I wish I was lighter, I wish I was lighter. And she'd be like, no, you're like a beautiful queen, something translation of that, and I feel like that really stuck with me that year.
See, and that's like, after she said that, then that you felt that, right?
Yeah, I feel like you could stand tall, like little, with your chest high.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's why it's like it really representation matters, and like having a good like upbringing that's like your family instilling like you're beautiful, you have beautiful skin, you're stuff like that. Like because I never grew up wanting to be light. I didn't care. Like I just knew I'm BSC, I'm brown skin cutie. Like that's me. Like I never wanted to.
So unrelated, let me ask you, when you were in high school, did you read Huckleberry Finn in your English classes?
I think I did because I know that book.
So that was one of the books with the N-word in it,
Yeah.
and I remember every time we would read that word, I would like wince inside. I was like, I feel like people were kind of looking like, how do I react? I mean, I was not black, but I was definitely in the darker side. Like, how did you feel when you would like hear those in like what literature you were reading?
I didn't like it obviously because like I'm the only black one in the room, so it's like for the teacher to let it like the student read it, it was cringy to me. And it was like there was no like respect for me. They just like I just felt
regard for your feelings.
Correct. Like I just feel like I wasn't even seen. I was seen obviously because of that word, but I wasn't like heard or seen. I didn't like it. That's why I hated like when I brought up like the slavery topic in history and all that stuff. It's like everybody would just look at you. We watch Kuta Kente in history. Hated it because I'm just like I have all these people that like would make fun of it, like my history. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. Like it was really tough, and it's like I didn't have nobody that I could be like yo, like what's going on? Like I had no one I could talk to besides my like family about it. So I don't know, like growing up here, it did help in some ways because I could see like I'm really strong or what have you, but it just would have been easier if I was with people that look like me because like we all go do the same thing, like everybody understood, so it was tough. So yeah, you bringing that up, it was tough. I hated it. I just no.
And I actually have something to say to something Lizette said. And then she said that she didn't really like the snow. I am missing the snow like crazy in South Carolina. I want a white Christmas. I miss the snowfall, that excitement of like getting up and seeing the snow out your window. I feel like winter without it is just like kind of depressing.
It's like weird because you're used to it. Me, yeah. I could do without it. I don't.
See, I spent 16 years in Guatemala, so like we don't get snow, so I'm used to it.
Yeah.
So people who are used to snow, they're not used to it when they don't have it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's funny because I come from a very tropical place. I like having that kind of medium temperature. So.
I rather it hot. Like I can go without snow, so I can move to South Carolina today and not care about the snow. I don't need it. I run cold, so it's like, yeah, no. Like,
yeah, no, my body definitely runs hot. So.
Yeah, so we're the opposite. So no snow for me. But anybody else have any closing statements they want to say? Okay, I want to thank these two for taking time out of their night to come on the video. As always, I want to thank y'all for liking, subscribing, sharing my videos. It doesn't go unnoticed. I really truly appreciate y'all. Please help me run up my subscriber count because September will make a year that I've been doing my YouTube journey. So if I can get 100 subscribers, it'll be nice, or close to it. So y'all, please help me. I hope everybody is having a good start to their week. I hope everybody's being well out there. We have been having some rainy days, hot days. Just enjoy the last bit of the summer. And I will be, I always forget this. Love on the people who love on you. Support the people who support you. And I'll be seeing you for Monday's video. Kisses, smooches, bye!